Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Throwaway Account and says, my boyfriend quit his job without telling me, and now he refuses to look for another job. I'm tired of paying for everything. My boyfriend, 33 male, quit his job last year without telling me. Only found out 2 days before the rent was due. We split everything 50-50 when I asked him for his part of the rent. When I asked, he simply told me he quit because he was tired of working at that place. Since then, I've been paying for everything, including rent, food, gas, and bills, and anything else he needs. I had to work 2 jobs while going to school for a while. It was hard. But I finally finished school a couple of months ago and I found my dream job. I make enough to live comfortably, even take care of my boyfriend and still have money for saving. However, I still want him to get a job to support himself because I think as an adult, he needs a job. I feel like he relies on me too much and he thinks since my job pays well, he doesn't have a reason to work. He always says things like, you make good money now, so maybe you could buy me my dream car, or you should open a business for me to run. It bothers me a lot. I don't mind supporting my partner financially if there's a legit reason that prevents him from working, but it's not the case. He spends most of his time playing games, meeting up with friends, or just at home watching movies. I still have to do all the chores and take care of our dogs. His family thinks that he's been working to take care of me so that I can finish school, which is not true. Now they think I was able to finish school and got a good job all because of him. I don't even want to explain to them. I just want him to get a job and have a future. When I tried to talk to him, he told me I'm not supportive, and now that I have a good job, I look down on him. What should I do? Is it even worth to try and talk some sense into him? I don't want to start dating at this age, but I feel like I can't keep doing this. Edit. Many people asked why him? Why I stayed for years? What did I see in him? So I just want to answer it here. We started off pretty normal. We split everything 50-50. I had no problem with that. But throughout the years, he started showing his true self. I was in school and school was the most important thing to me at that point. So I invested all my time and energy into it. I was in a PhD program, so I had a stipend around 30k a year, which was enough for myself but not for 2 people. After he quit his job, I was very stressed out, but I had to focus on school and try to do everything I could to survive. I didn't have time to really think about my personal life, and I also didn't want to go through any changes in life, so I just let it be. In addition, he guilt trips me a lot, so I feel bad for him. But now that I have a stable job, I have time to really think about my future. I don't see myself being with him long term. I don't think it would be easy as, hey, let's break up, because I know he wouldn't let go that easy. But I'll start planning to get out. Maybe ask some friends for support. His name is not on the lease, so I'll stay where I am and he'll have to move. I think it's like you said in this one, OP, if there was a specific reason why he wasn't, maybe he's going through some mental health stuff, which even if that was the case, he needs to deal with that himself. But I think you would have supported him through that, but it sounds like he's literally just taking and never planning to give anything back. And that brings the question, what is your future looking like right now? It sounds like he'd be quite happy to continue to do this for the foreseeable future, that he's quite happy as if you're paying everything, doing all the chores, and, it's just disrespectful to you, isn't it? And you said to yourself about you don't want to start dating again, but there is an alternative of just not dating for a little while at least. But certainly don't play into this sunk cost fallacy stuff. You're certainly getting nothing beneficial from this relationship at the moment, so why bother basically? A commenter says, you break up with him. He's not a partner, he's a freaking leech. Stop trying to control him and control what you can. Break up, kick him out, / move out. Find someone worthy of you. Another commenter says, wow, you leave. You don't have a boyfriend, you have a dependent. Of course he's not getting a job. Why would he? You have proven to him that he doesn't need to because he's got a sugar mama. Him saying that you look down on him is manipulation. He wants you to feel bad. Supportive of what? Him sitting around playing games? Leave. Dating can actually be fun. You can't want this for the rest of your life. Opie responded to that and says, I did feel bad when he said that, and he does that all the time. Every time I bring up something, he would start talking about how miserable his life is and how I just make it worse. I admit that I stay till now because I feel bad. And no, I don't want this for the rest of my life. I will move on and hopefully find someone who cares. Another commenter says you work 2 jobs while in school to support someone who happily sits on their ass and not contributing, not even cleaning or caring for the pets. Why? Why have you accepted this? And the worst part is, he lets his family think he's supporting you, so he actually has enough sense to know that what he's doing is frowned upon. You don't want to start dating at this age. You mean 31? So you'd rather be 31 taking care of a stay-at-home boyfriend who contributes literally nothing. How is that a better outlook at 31? Opie says I think it's because I was too busy figuring out my life and trying to do everything I could to survive. All I did was working and going to school. I didn't really have time to think about my personal life. Now that I have a stable job, I have to think about my life more, and yeah, I need to end this and take care of myself. To be honest, I'm not even sure how to date anymore, but I guess I'll try and hopefully be able to find someone. And one more comment which says, when he tries to make you feel bad by saying that you look down on him for not having a job because you have a good job, your reply needs to be, yes I do, because you are lazy and using me. Don't be afraid to call him out for what he is. Because I promise you, he will never change because he is very happy not working and having you pay for everything. As for dating, don't even worry about dating if you kick him to the curb. Your life will be so much better as a single person than it is currently. You'll have more money, more freedom, less stress, and you'll wonder why you stayed with him for so long. You may feel like you're too old to start dating again when you are ready. You are not. It's better to leave him now and have time to be alone, then find someone better. And believe me, you deserve so much better. And to wait another 10 years. If you stay, in 10 years' time, you'll be even more unhappy, with no savings, with a lazy boyfriend who uses you for money. You'll be wishing that you'd left now so you could have spent the last 10 years being happy and saving your money. So Opie came in with her first update 2 months later and said, it's been 2 months since I posted about my situation on this sub, and I just wanted to give you an update on how things went after I made that post. Before I go into the details, I just want to say I really appreciate everyone here. After I resolved everything, I occasionally would go back to my original post and read the comments to remind myself that I've done the right thing. After posting on here, I went home from work that day and asked my friends to come over but stay in the parking lot while I sort things out with my now ex-boyfriend. Before I could even start the conversation, he told me his friend got a new car recently and how I should get him a car since I can afford it. I got really upset and told him he could have got himself a car if he was working. I told him how stressful it has been for me with him not working and fully relying on me. He started the "my life is already miserable and you're not being supportive" talk. I was sick of it. So I said I wanted to end things here and he needs to move out ASAP. As expected, he got upset and threw a tantrum. He was yelling, throwing stuff around, and when he realized I was being dead serious, he started threatening to hit and kill my dogs. I jumped in between him and the dogs to stop him from harming them, and he pushed me and grabbed me by my neck. I was able to get him off me, put the dogs into a room and call my friends to tell them come in and call the police. He was trying to hit me, but my friends got there in time. I think he got scared when he saw my friend showed up, so he backed down, but still verbally telling them to get out of the way or it'd hit them too. The police came, they took him away and told me he wouldn't be able to come into the apartment anymore. He had to move but would need to be escorted by the police if he wants to grab his stuff later. It was a horrible experience, but it showed me that I've done the right thing. I thought that was the end of everything, but his auntie called me when she found out and tried to gaslight me into saying that he didn't do anything wrong and I was just upset, so I called the police. I told myself I no longer have to deal with this bullshit. I told her to leave me alone and hung up. His family would continue to harass me but stopped when I threatened to report to the police. I continued to pay the rent and bills like I've always been doing. The only thing that's changed is I'm now so much happier. I'm the happiest I've been in years. I just got a promotion last week. I've been spending time enjoying life, the extra money I have since I'm no longer having to pay for his expenses. As for my ex, he moved in with his aunt. I got a protection order so we are not in contact at all. Commenter says after that one, wonderful update and congrats to you. You're strong and capable and now you can live in peace. Opie says thank you. It feels great to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about what kind of crap he's going to give me today. And oh my god, an extra savings that I have since I'm no longer financially responsible for a full-grown adult. And there was a lot of other useful information for the OP in the comments below that post. You know, stuff like changing locks, potentially having cameras, because let's face it, the behavior he's shown and how quickly that escalated shows what he's capable of. Grabbed you by your neck, threatening to kill your dogs. That is unhinged behavior. I always find it weird when family members like phone up to harass the OPs in these stories. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised if, you know, the boyfriend's doing this. Usually the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I wonder what he was telling his family. Obviously, they already believe him that he was supporting her when she was in school, etc., etc., which totally didn't happen. So I wonder what other bullshit he's been telling them in the background. But OP came in a year later and says, "It's been a year since I called the police on my ex-boyfriend after he hurt me and threatened to hurt my dogs. I hope the same thing doesn't happen to anyone. But if you're currently in a similar relationship, I hope this post will help you realize good things will come after you stand up for yourself. After my ex was taken by the police, I dealt with some harassment from his family, but they eventually left me alone. I moved closer to my job and basically a different city that's 30 minutes away from my old apartment. I took some time to heal and went on vacations by myself. It was great. I finally looked forward to coming home and spend time with my dogs. One of them passed away from cancer a couple of months ago. About 6 months after the incident, I met someone. He's a great person for the first time in a long time. Someone who treats me with love and respect. I'm very happy at the moment. I've learned to set boundaries and expectations early on to avoid being in the same situation again. Now to my ex's case. Yesterday I got a call from the prosecutor's office. To be honest, I totally forgot about the case and I thought there's nothing else to follow up on. But they called to inform me that they'd be pressing charges and asked if I'd be okay to testify. I said yes. It'd be hard for me to go to court and talk about the incident if he's right there, because even though I've completely moved on with my life, I can still feel the fear when I heard about the case. I'm somewhat still traumatized by the whole thing, but I think he needs to be responsible for his actions, especially after his auntie tried to defend his actions by blaming me. It really sucks that I have to go through all of that to end a toxic and abusive relationship. But I got out somewhat safely and I can't imagine what my life would be if I stayed. It was a hard time, but it's worth it. Things are definitely better and I'm surrounded by people who truly love and appreciate me. Simple and little things in my life truly make me happy. Like how my boyfriend got me bubble tea and prepared dinner for me when I had a hard day at work last week. I can't believe just more than a year ago, I thought a day without an argument was already a good day. So there was a couple of comments with OP replying to him. The first one said, "Good for you for leaving that toxic situation. The exact thing happened to me last year as well. I was in a relationship with a toxic ex and I finally stood up for myself and ended the relationship. We had to live together until we figured out the living situation since unfortunately both our names were on the lease. The way I got out was by calling the police after he swung a sound bar at me. I'm still traumatized about this to this day. I'm in therapy for the things he did and said to me. He pled guilty, which I'm so glad that this nightmarish chapter can finally be over." OP responded saying, "I'm glad that you're able to get out before things got worse. It's a very traumatizing experience, but therapy does help. Hope you have a good support system and are around people who care about you and understand your experience." Another commenter says, "Hey OP, thank you for sharing an update. I'm so glad that things have improved for you and that you're happy and surrounded by people who love and care about you. I can only imagine how scary it will be to testify against your ex, but you were so brave and strong for doing that. If you feel like you need it, get a counselor to help you navigate and process the emotions you are feeling, and so you can realize the effects of re-traumatization. I wish you all the best and good luck in the trial." OP says, "I was told that victim advocates will reach out and walk me through the process, as well as helping me prepare for a trial. I know it'll be very hard and triggering, but it'll be even harder for me to live with the fact that he gets away with what he did, and I'm the one who lets it happen." At first, I just want to say I'm sorry about the loss of your dog, of course. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like for OP to have to go back into court to face her abuser in the way that she's going to. I think she's incredible for doing so, don't get me wrong. I'm just incredibly happy for her that her life has turned around in the way it has. She's finally met someone again rather than settling for what her life could have been. You know, we see it time and time again in these stories. It is obvious what OP should have done in that first post, and it's very easy for us and commenters to say, you know, you need to get yourself out of that situation, because why? Because why would you put up with that? You know, it's so easy for us to say that kind of stuff. But as always, when you're living it, when it's normalized, I always picture it, like I've said in past stories, as like just being surrounded by a grey fog, and you know, you've got nowhere to go, so you just have to live in that moment, and days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and you just can't see a path out of there. But when you finally get that support and that encouragement, that little bit of light in the fog, it starts to clear. And when the fog's completely lifted, you're like, fuck me, why did I put up with that all this time? So I'm super happy for OP, and I hope they continue to thrive and gets the support they need for that trial going forward. But what do you guys make of this situation? What would you say to OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from our very own subreddit, r/Mark Narrations. Got your own neighbor drama, you know where I am. This one's from Harriato, and I have to give you a warning on this one. Just from the title, when I saw the first line, I got a feeling it's going to be poo related. So if you're eating or whatever right now, you might want to skip this one. You've been warned, okay? It's titled The Mystery of the Phantom Flusher. Hey Mark and Waffle Gang, this is an ongoing saga afflicting our household, and it's a real stinker. Literally. Main characters are me, 36 female, my husband, 38 male, our baby, 0 male, nice neighbor 1 and 2, and the Phantom Flusher. Age and identity currently unknown. Dun, dun, dun. We moved into our house in our nice quiet village cul-de-sac around 2 years ago, and don't really know all our neighbors yet. We know the people either side quite well, but beyond that, we just wave and say hello. Everyone seemed nice. A week or so ago, the water company came out and unclogged a drain. Not our drain, one of the main ones. This will be important later. And a few days ago, they came back to do it again. I spoke to one of the men doing the unclogging, and he said there had been a blockage. Probably people flushing things that they shouldn't. He said the water company would be sending around a letter reminding us not to flush nappies, incontinence pads, tampons, small children, kitchen sinks, the full works of William Shakespeare, etc. Sure enough, this arrived. Now, we put all the little man's nappies and wipes into our ludicrously overpriced, ridiculously over-engineered, super-duper nappy bin and spend a sum approximately to the gross domestic product of Lithuania on refills for this monstrosity. Yes, I was pregnant and hormonal and fell for the marketing hype. So we just shrugged our shoulders and carried on with our lives. The Phantom Flusher struck. A letter arrives in very shouty all caps with lots of underline, essentially ranting about how the author knows that we blocked the drain and the water company and a lynch mob of neighbors will be coming after us to charge us for the blockage. It is simply signed, your neighbors. I'm pretty upset because it's a rather aggressive note, and the idea of the entire street wrongly believing that we are the Phantom Flushers is horrible. Who wants to be despised as the stench causer most foul? Not me. My husband goes to speak with our neighbors to politely explain that A, we don't flush nappies, B, a size 5 pull-up won't even fit down a soil pipe of the kind we have, let alone the main sewer. C, we are not scary people. If you ever wanted to knock and say, hey, are you disposing of your poopy nappies properly? We're happy to chat and take you on a guided tour of our changing table over a cup of tea. And a biscuit, I hope. Maybe not the biscuit after this. He speaks to all the neighbors bar 2 older couples who are both on holiday. Everyone he speaks to seems shocked by the note and reiterates that the Phantom Flusher is unknown. One of them says the blockages have been terrible their end, which is extra bad because their frail, elderly mother is staying and can only use the downstairs toilet. Once he returns, we check the envelope of the letter and see, drum roll, it was posted from a different county. So now we know that one of the holidaying neighbors is the author. We take a different approach and contact the water company. You know, just in case they've mentioned nappies and sent shouty neighbor off on one. water company are very interesting. They say, oh, people are quick to blame young families, but it's more often old folks flushing incontinence pads. A sneaking suspicion is born. For context, we are one of the only younger couples on the street. It's mostly older folk, including one of the neighbours who is currently on holiday. What if the author of the note is, knowingly or not, the real phantom flusher? Dun dun dun! To be continued. P.S. Yes, this is what passes for excitement in semi-rural England. Man, I love this kind of excitement. And I remember watching a documentary a few years back about fatbergs. And I got into it because there was one in central Oxford and they had to like dig up a massive part of the road to get this thing out, to break this thing down. It was huge apparently, and like blocking so much, and it was like full of, you know, fat, oil, pads, nappies as well. I don't know how anyone can get a nappy down. You must literally have to poke that thing down the pipe and hope that it goes. But if you can stomach it, watch a documentary on it. It's really nasty. It looks like an alien creature. But what are you going to do, OP? How are you going to get the information? Surely they're not going to just admit it, even if you showed them this letter from where, you know, where they're holidaying from, and you say it's from the same county you was just in. They're probably just going to go, nope, we need to come up with a different plan, OP. I'm not sure how we're going to... I'm involved, OP. So Waffle Gang, community, I'm turning this one to you guys. How can we solve this mystery of the phantom flusher? Let's get involved. Let me know down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Thank you so much, Hariato. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. For sharing your story with us. I love it. We'll be expecting an update on that soon as well. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.